Hi, good morning. The journey of a psychologist, I think, is one of the toughest journey one can ever imagine. Being a psychologist is not an easy task. People think it's very easy. 2 days back, I was giving a lecture at one of the universities, and there were a lot of myths and misconceptions related to the field of psychology and being a professional psychologist. So by today's video, I'm going to tell you what are the myths which are related to psychologists as a profession. First, a psychologist is a mind reader. Well, we are not magicians. A psychologist cannot read your mind. You know, when people come to us and say, "Oh, you are a psychologist, tell me what is going inside my mind. What am I thinking?" Well, how do I know what you're thinking? I can only analyze your behavior and tell you who you are. So psychologist is never a mind reader. He's a trained professional. That's my second point. People think that psychologists are not trained. They just have to study and they just sit on a seat and talk. Well, that's not the case. To even talk to that length and to that understanding, we have to study a lot. So we are trained. We are trained intensively to deal with human behavior and human psyche. My third point, psychologists are magicians. You know, when we are dealing with sessions, when people come to us, they say, "Okay, now will I be fine by today? Will I be okay by today? Will I stop thinking the way I'm thinking by today? If I'm into depression or anxiety, will my depression and anxiety go by today or tonight?" Well, I'm not a magician. I don't have a magic wand, that I can just make it vanish just like in few minutes. It's not possible. I have to go deep inside your psyche. I have to understand you. I have to understand your family. I have to understand from where you are coming. What made your behavior turn into certain pattern the way it is now? So we are trained. We are not magicians. We are not mind readers. Next point, psychologists earn a lot. Well, in which book have you read that psychologists earn a lot? We want to, of course, everybody wants to earn a lot, but we do not earn a lot. That is the misconception which people have. That just by sitting and talking, we earn like $100, $200, 500 rupees, 1000 rupees in Indian scenario or in Western countries. Well, that's not the case. It's very difficult for us to even do things like these. And people who are thinking like these, that we earn a lot, please change your thinking. Next point, psychologists just sit and talk, and that is what people are comparing us with, that even we can sit and talk. That is what a psychologist or a counselor does. My dear friends, psychologists, when they sit and talk, they talk with some substantive information, substance information. But when a normal person is sitting and talking, that is advice giving and suggestion. A psychologist will never advise you or give you suggestions. They will always empower you to deal with your future problems and your current problems. That is the difference between a layman and a psychologist. A psychologist will help you to deal with the problems in an effective way that remains with you throughout the year, throughout the life. A friend or a family will always give you a first aid kind of a treatment, like an advice giving or a suggestion. My next point, psychologists always claims that every problem is rooted in the childhood. Well, there are certain problems which come down from the childhood, and there are certain problems which erupt in your adolescence or adulthood, but nothing is very clear that everything has to come from childhood. People who say that everything has to come from childhood, well, I don't believe in that, because I have dealt with cases who had erupted in dysfunctional families in the later adulthood. So there are different kind of theories, there are different kind of theorems which might prove that. And lastly, my dear friend, psychologist is also a human being. Okay, he's a trained professional. He studies a lot. Okay, he sits on a seat because he has studied that much and he has gained that much of experience to sit in that seat and talk to you. So do not get confused by a layman and a psychologist. A psychologist are always class apart from masses. Thank you. Signing off. This is Dr. Navid Kapoor.